Hey guys, and welcome back to These Days. I am Jackie, and today I am so excited to be joining in on a collab. And the collab is all about how to create an atmosphere of education. This collab is hosted by Madison over at Happiest Homeschooling. She has some great videos all about homeschooling and her homeschool setup, and she is a Charlotte Mason homeschooler. She also has a really great Instagram feed, so be sure to check her out there also. I will drop the playlist link below so that you can check out the rest of the videos in the playlist. If you've been around for a while, you know that my channel is all about homeschooling, motherhood, essential oils, gardening, plants. Be sure to subscribe and click the bell if you want to receive notifications for whenever my new videos come out. So I have a cup of cold brew here, and I hope that you grab a cup of coffee or a cup of tea, whatever you like to drink, and let's get started. So today I'm going to talk about 3 things that I really feel like can bring in an atmosphere of education. And the first is your attitude as a parent and your relationship with your kids. So Charlotte Mason says that education is an atmosphere, a discipline, a life. And she also goes deeper into those things and talks about them. So in one of her volumes, she actually says that education is an atmosphere. That is, the child breathes the atmosphere that is emanating from the parents, that of the ideas which rule their own lives. And so that means that us as parents, us as moms, us as homeschool teachers, we have a big job. We as the teachers, we set up that atmosphere. If I have an attitude, or if I'm not in a good mood, or if I don't have things together, like physically all of the things together, our atmosphere in education for the school day kind of just goes like, ooh. So I want to start with a verse that I read. And I know not everyone who is subscribed to me on here is a believer, but I feel like this verse can apply to like everyone's lives. It says that the wise woman builds her house, but with her own hands, the foolish one tears down her house, in Proverbs 14:1. So we have to watch ourselves as mothers, as teachers, that we are pouring into our kids, making sure that the relationship with us and our kids is good, because that's going to affect the way the education atmosphere is as a whole. I'm speaking to myself right now. Like, I need to watch my own video. How do I, as the parent, create that atmosphere of education? So we know now it starts with our attitudes, it starts with us, but it also starts with our relationships. So that relationship between us and our kids is really important in creating the atmosphere of education. That love, having that one-on-one time with them, or that time in a group with them, and really pouring into them. Whenever it's that time for learning, whenever we actually sit down to homeschool, we are connected with our kids and we have a good attitude about it, because that is going to reflect in our atmosphere. So on to more about how in your surroundings you can create an atmosphere of education. So one of my very favorite ways, and that came to mind immediately when I started thinking about this topic, was having our book basket in the living room. Now, we don't keep toys or anything in the living room. I really like to just have books in here. So that means there's a constant flow of books coming out of that basket. I know that the kids are learning things as they look at them, even though they can't really read well yet. They are learning things. It is creating this atmosphere of opening a book and looking at the pages and learning something about something. So having that book basket here at our house is one of the first ways that I feel like just makes this environment of education and this atmosphere of education come alive for us. And that is beyond the school day. So once we get into a school day, the first thing that I like to do in our surroundings is either turn on some music, some fun, upbeat music for the morning time, or I start my diffuser. I like to have that going with some really great scented oils. It helps for me that I have found that if I make sure that the house is at least picked up, I can focus so much better. And I even tell my kids that. I'm like, okay guys, the house is so messy right now. Let's reset, let's clean up. So that is one way to also help there not be a bunch of distractions around the house, maybe their favorite toys laying out or whatever. So making sure that in your surroundings, create this atmosphere of education also. And the third is making sure that the subjects that you choose and the things that you learn about are interesting to your kids and things that they want to learn. So for example, my son, my 4-year-old, heard thunder outside the other day, and he's always really interested about storms and stuff. I think they kind of scare him a little bit, so I think that's why he's so interested about them. Well, he was sitting on the couch and it was storming, and he was like, how is the sound of thunder made? So that question opened up this opportunity for me to pull in that atmosphere of education and really shift that question into a way of learning. So I think that is one of the beautiful things about homeschooling is if your kids have questions, you can just like switch to that for a little bit. I think my goal as a parent and as a homeschool mom like is to make sure that my kids are lifelong learners, and so that's a really important thing to me. Bring out all the books and set maybe out something interesting that day. For example, bringing a globe out with a big maps book. That is one that always gets their attention. We have this awesome maps book. I will link it below. Is like our favorite. Really like to look at it. I love to look at it. It's really cool. It shows you all about places, and so just like laying something interesting out on the table kind of like gets them like intrigued from whatever they're doing, and they'll like naturally come over to it. So that is something that I am learning with my kids, is to just set out something fun. I know a lot of people do an invitation to play. Well, I haven't done that, but I do try to set out interesting things like, Mom, is this for me? I laid out the other day, I just wrote out some ABCs and put out some stickers for my middle kid, my pre-K kiddo, and we just sat there and did that. But he came over to it and he was really excited because it was for him. It was set out for him on the table. Creating a way for them to become interested about what's going on in their surroundings. So I would love to hear your comments below on how you create an atmosphere of education within your home. Have you heard about the Charlotte Mason ideals on education as a atmosphere, discipline, a life? So this video was really fun to film. I'm so glad that I got to join in on the collab with Madison and the rest of the homeschooling YouTubers that are on here. And I hope that you guys enjoyed this. Be sure to check out the other videos for any more suggestions on how to create an atmosphere of education. The ladies in this collab are awesome, and they're gonna have some great suggestions. I hope you decide to subscribe and ring the bell and come back for my next video. Thank you so much for watching.